Yeah. Okay. No, so good morning. Thank you all so much for being with us today. On behalf of the town of Stonington, I really just wanted to first say how grateful I am to our amazing partners who made today possible. So the team at the United Way, Miranda Creative, our team at Town Hall and Human Services, and of course our police department. We also really appreciate the support that we've gotten from our police commission, the Eastern Community Chamber Foundation, and residents who've been involved in this so far. It's really thanks to months of collaboration that we can stand here today to announce our plans to launch the Which When pilot campaign. And what drew a lot of us together really was a shared understanding of the loss related to mental health struggles. And we know that we're not alone in this struggle. 1 in 5 U.S. adults experiences mental illness each year. And for 1 in 20 of those individuals with a serious mental health issue, 60% of youth with major depression do not receive any mental health treatment. And even in states like Connecticut, where resources are strong and available, 1 in 3 do not access treatment. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among people ages 10 to 34. We know that we can and must do better. We chose to announce this pilot campaign today as May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Stonington is joining cities and towns across the country working to amplify the message that you are not alone. In Stonington, we want to play a proactive role in removing the stigma that is all too often linked with mental health issues and ensure that residents are able to connect with the best resources available. We hope the results from this pilot can help lead the way for further action across the state. Without further ado, I'd like to invite Lisa Tucker Bates, the President and CEO of the United Way of Connecticut, and who also serves as a member of our own Stonington Police Commission, to help share a little bit more about our plans for this pilot campaign. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you, Danielle, and thank you to all of you for being here today. As Danielle said, I have the privilege and honor to serve as President and CEO of the United Way of Connecticut. Among our programs is 211, which is a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week, 365-day-a-year resource for Connecticut residents. And with that, I would really like to introduce, to speak further about what we do, Tanya Barrett, who is the Senior Vice President at United Way of Connecticut for 211. She has been leading our effort to build what is really a gold standard in 211 service for 23 years. So with that, Tanya, please come up.
Morning. United Way of Connecticut and 211, we're very pleased to announce the partnership between 211 and 911 in Stonington. I first want to thank the First Selectman and Chief Stewart for their forward thinking and on how to get the word out about where to call and when. 911 and 211 offer important assistance to the community 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Most people know to call 911 in an emergency, while 211 is actually a little bit less known. With this campaign, we hope to bridge the gap in awareness about 211. It's more important than ever that we get the word out. It's been a difficult year. With the pandemic, social justice and equity concerns taking center stage, this has and continues to impact us all. Every day we hear from individuals that are experiencing isolation, anxiety, emotional crisis, and just generally feeling overwhelmed. People from all walks of life are feeling the stress of work-life balance issues, juggling childcare, education needs, significant economic challenges, to maintain basic needs like food, housing, healthcare. 211 helps connect people to the resources they need to improve their lives. One size doesn't fit all, we know that. There's no universal cure, but the need is greater than ever for more options. 211 was created 40 years ago in a partnership with local United Ways and the state of Connecticut to be a place where people can turn for options. 211 is a trusted telephone information and referral service and crisis intervention service. Operated by United Way of Connecticut, we're a private nonprofit. Calls are confidential, so when you call 211, you can remain anonymous. There's no cost to the caller. And information on programs and services can also be accessed online at 211ct.org. As part of this work, 211 provides the state's point of entry and triage for the Youth Mobile Crisis Intervention Services in partnership with the Department of Children and Families, DCF. 211 also operates Action Line in partnership with the Connecticut Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services. Both services provide telephone support, information and referrals to community resources, warm transfer to mobile crisis teams, and when necessary, direct connection to 911 medical response for youth or adults in danger of harming themselves or others. In 2020, we handled 122,000 crisis calls. 91% of those callers reported that their crisis state was diminished after speaking to a contact specialist. Only 561, which is less than 1% of the callers, required 911 or medical emergency response. Of these, there were over 16,000 youth were served through the Youth Mobile Crisis. And again, we see around 91% being appropriate for mobile crisis response of the youth, 6% that are actually looking for community resource connection, and then 3% of the youth that required 911 intervention. So to sum it up, our crisis teams were able to de-escalate most of the crisis calls to 211 through telephone crisis intervention services, which includes empathetic listening, effective problem solving, including connecting people to the supports and services that they need. When people get the right service at the right time, it makes a difference. Our hope is that the Which When campaign will provide another option for those who need help before a situation potentially becomes a law enforcement issue or an emergency room department issue. It is our goal, working with these great partners, to help every Stonington resident understand when to call which, 911 when it's vital, 211 when it's helpful.
Thank you so much to Tanya and Lisa. I'd like to invite our amazing Chief of Police, Darren Stewart, to come up, and then if our Chairman of the Board of Police Commission, Bob O'Shaughnessy, doesn't mind being put on the spot, for him to say a few words after Chief Stewart. So thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to talk this morning about a great program. I often say that when you see 10 ambulances in almost any community, at least 2 of them are going on a mental health call today. Police departments around the state have been really overwhelmed at times with the new need that is in the community, whether it's youth, elderly, or people that just haven't been out. COVID obviously made a big impact on a variety of communities and community members that are out there. So which one? Tanya brings up a great point about which one do you call. When we were in grammar school, DARE, you have DARE officers, you have education in the schools, and what do you teach the kids? Call 911, call 911, call 911 for almost any problem. And when you call 911, you get a police officer. But I think our goal is to pick the right one. If you don't need the police, call 211, because it's connecting with the right services. That's what it's about. If you are able to get people the help that they need early and often, there won't be a need to call 911. The police don't need to be involved, and people can get the services that can get them on the right track. And I think that's the goal, is to which one do you pick? And there are options available out there. Certainly if somebody's having a true emergency, 911, if in doubt, call 911. And we're hoping to be able to go, work seamlessly with each other, so that if 211 recognizes, hey, that should have been a 911 call, they're gonna bring it to the police, and if the police say, hey, that really is better suited in 211, we're able to go back and forth with each other. So it's a beginning of hopefully a great partnership. It's really for the betterment of our citizens out there so that they get the help that they need, especially in crisis and what's going on in the world. And we certainly look forward to partnering with everybody, and thank you to Lisa, Tanya, and Danielle for making that happen, and also Leanne Theodore, who was not here, our Director of Human Services, who has an integral part in all this. And with that, I'll call up our Chair of the Board of Police Commission, former Connecticut State Police Captain Bob O'Shaughnessy.
Thank you, Chief. I'd just like to have the opportunity to say, having spent 25 years in law enforcement and now as Chairman of the Police Commission, the first thing I want to do is thank Commissioner Bates for involving the Police Commissioner and the Police Department here in Stonington for 211. Anytime you can reduce the burden on law enforcement and get the people the help that you need, you're going to allow your police officers to handle the items that they need to handle. And certainly this is going to go a long way to allow that to happen for us. And as a result of that, what's going to happen is they're going to be able to address the issues that they're really needed for, and people are going to get the help that they need by calling 211. So the commission is fully supportive of this and wants to see it go a long way. So I thank the chief and everyone else for doing that. Thank you very much.
So I'm not sure if anybody has any questions. And if not, thank you for being here.
I guess I was wondering, how are you going to get this word out? What is that element of this campaign, so that if someone is in distress, they have the information they need to know to make the decision?
Yep, no, thank you so much for asking. So right here we have a kind of sample visual, but we've been working with Miranda Creative, who's been wonderful in doing a number of different graphics and options, and coming up with a plan ranging from social media to billboards to lawn signs to library bookmarks. I think we maybe even have something going on in our tax bills. Really any form and connection that we can get in front of people in Stonington, and we're always looking for new ideas. I don't know if Tanya wants to add to anything.
Yeah, no, this is the campaign materials are here. We're counting on the media to help us to get the word out, and we're going to be trying to use all forms of outreach, both at the grassroots level and through the media, to get the word out. So you should be starting to see some of this, some of these materials around town soon.
And it sounds like you had a lot of calls. Do you think that there should have been even more, like people should have turned to 211 instead of 911 at times?
Yeah, I think certainly we don't get as many calls from certain areas, and that's definitely because there's a lower awareness level, and so we're making a targeted effort to really get out and make sure that we're covering all parts of the state.
Okay. I have just one last question for the chief. Have you guys received calls where you felt that something else would have been appropriate, other than like?
Yeah, I think our citizenry has been sort of trained.
Oh, can you? Sorry, our microphone won't reach
Was
over
it loud
there.
enough?
I can hear you.
I think our citizenry was trained from long ago that if you're in some kind of crisis or you have sometimes even question, you call 911, and probably half of our calls are ones that people maybe could have not used 911. So I think it's important that as we move forward that people understand, hey, if it's an emergency and you're not sure, call 911. But if there's something else going on, pick. Are you having a human services, a heat issue, something like that? Then 211 is the more appropriate call. And our goal certainly is that if you can get somebody help, especially if a mental health issue is coming up in a family, that they're able to maybe get help earlier than what they are right now. So it's not a 911 call to the police to go out and handle a true crisis. So I guess it's a hope of early intervention through the services available through 211 and United Way to get things rolling. It also involves a lot of our town agencies about how we can get the word out, get people the right help at the right time, not have the police respond at the when it's true, when everything's falling apart. We're hopeful that we can get it earlier. I'm not sure we can measure it, but hopefully we can get it out there so people do take advantage of that. I think it'll be probably the numbers. If you start to see more calls to 211,
mentioned, like, if an officer does respond and you see it is kind of a mental health crisis, do you guys have resources yourselves that, you know, like
Yes.
from 9-211?
What
You
we've
can
had to
call?
do is, especially in light of the pandemic, is we assigned one officer just to be sort of our mental health officer that is being assisted by mobile outreach, who 211 also has direct access to. That we've been doing follow-ups in the community with some of our mental health calls involving mobile outreach to get further help to people that are out there. And we had officers going out and just meeting with people that are maybe hadn't had the chance to go out and see people, and so we were doing some knock on doors with human services just to see if people needed anything, and it seemed to work out very well. We actually had one officer who was going back and forth with a particular citizen in town, went back on a follow-up, knocked on the door, she didn't come, one thing led to another, and she was on the floor, and the officer actually saved her life. So, a lot of credit to that officer, Sergeant Teresa Hirsch. So,
She was ill.
yeah, she had fallen on the floor, and
Okay.
if anybody wasn't there to check on her, it wouldn't have ended very well. So, a lot of stuff out there right now with mental health, and we certainly need help. I mean, the town has hopefully going to be hiring soon a community outreach specialist to assist not only human services and the police with reaching the citizens that are in need of services, but also partnerships like this are really force multipliers. You know, we just can't do it alone. The police are not going to solve the mental health issue. We want to be part of the solution.